idea. Just a little bit too high that time as they turn it over.
And no real surprise, early in the season, as we've touched on, pandemic-affected season where your practices have been kind of, hit or miss, that your passes and shots you may have the occasional slip at times.
Well, a lot of you almost wonder, too, and it varies from program to program with a lot of these freshmen on the floor today. They didn't have a lot of court time with some of the older players either. Alston lines it up from three.
I'm going to be really interested to see when we get to the NBA season how it affects this rookie class because no summer league for them, no real time with their team. Same with the free agents and traded players as well. You wonder what the chemistry is going to be like for those guys early in the season.
It'd certainly be a challenge, and happy to have games. Nonetheless, you go back a couple of months ago, didn't even know if there would be fall sports, and let alone if basketball would even start in November or December.
Another steal for App State. 9 turnovers now for Charlotte.
Alston misfires from the corner. Long rebound from Pearson. And here comes Charlotte. McMillan attacking the glass. Double clutches and lays it home.
McMillan's done that a couple times as she attacks the basket. That's her first basket. First time she's gotten it to go, but we've seen her attack a few times.
Alston was bumped. Callie Connick, the sophomore from Pittsburgh, going to be the culprit on the foul there.
Fewer fouls in this second quarter to this point so far. We saw Charlotte actually getting the bonus in that first quarter. That's only the first foul on Charlotte, and only 2 on App State so far through the first about 6 minutes of play in this second quarter.
You mentioned it in the first quarter. This game's been a fairly clean game for both teams, though. And defensively have done a nice job as Stanley continues to battle and draws the contact.
She's to be her size. Bree Stanley loves to battle on the glass and got her follow that time. Goes back up, gets rewarded for the hustle and will earn a trip to the foul line.
She'll step back up and talked about they wanted her to distribute the basketball more this year. Can score at will for this team.
She struggled from the field so far, just 2 of 10 as she knocks down the free throw to give her 8, but 4 assists, 3 rebounds, so she's making her impact felt in other ways. That's what your best player and leader is supposed to do.
Was 6th in the Sun Belt in scoring a season ago. It was 1 for 2 at the charity stripe that time. Has a quiet 8 points here in the first half. And this one ripped away by Maya Calder, forcing a 3-on-2. The drop off to Stanley. She pushed off. And we're going the other way.
Stanley just kind of threw that wing out there and tried to create a little space and got a little bit too much of a shove in there to get away with it. The official makes the call.
Take a second look, and there it was obvious for the baseline official to make that call. App State by 1. And coming with a little full court here is both teams are going to head back to their huddles. 3:23 remaining in the second quarter. They're going to go over to the scores table and take a second look at that.
I guess maybe to see if there was any elbow swung potentially for a flagrant. I don't think there's nothing like flagrant about that, but 10 turnovers for Charlotte to this point. By the way, they've turned it over 4 times in the last 2 minutes and 49 seconds of play. So that's something that I think Coach Consuerga and company are certainly going to express at halftime is the need to take better care of the ball.
Just a push off from Stanley. I don't think anything there.
Nothing there.
Come back out on the floor. Officials have done a great job today. This has been a well-officiated game.
If you watch James Harden, you see him do that 18 times a game. And he gets away with it 17 times.
Full court pressure from the Mountaineers. McMillan and Busick trying to get it across the timeline. Finally do. And the Mountaineers swarming the basketball everywhere. 14 on the shot clock to kick.
Another turnover for Charlotte.
Turnover against Charlotte.
That's 11 turnovers in this first half. And Charlotte, they're only down by 1 point. So, I mean, that's despite the 11 turnovers, they're only down by 1. So I think on one hand, you kind of have to be happy about that if you're Charlotte's coaching staff.
Alston picks up her dribble. Porter shuffled the feet before attacking the rim and is called for the travel. We saw that little 2-2-1 look from the Mountaineers there that bothered Charlotte, and especially when they got it into the half court, Mountaineers continued to try to trap. I wonder if Coach Elderkin will stay in that or go back to that here soon. Mentioned that they have the ability this year to mix up their looks defensively. Last year were more of a zone-type team.
That was a 2-3 look that time, so another different look for App State.
Alston, the freshman, sizing up McMillan. Porter missed it front iron, and back come the 49ers. McMillan coast to coast for 2.
She goes attacking the basket again. She has been very determined to get to the basket in this first half, as she's made 2 straight layups now for Charlotte.
Alston dumps it off. Calder had to gather herself, and a wild shot off the glass. Now Charlotte trying to push the tempo on the underside of the backboard. The miss from Jet Wilson.
The other end, that was a great pass from Alston, by the way. Just kind of caught her off guard when she was trying to get the layup and just couldn't get it up cleanly. But it was a great find.
Back and forth we go, and App State has not had a bucket in almost 3.5 minutes. Missed their last 5 shots, and they trail by 1 here to the Charlotte 49ers.
That's that old broadcaster jinx, right? We talked about them shooting the ball better a couple minutes ago. Now they can't get anything to fall.
Wilson misses the runner, and just a lid on the rim the last several trips for the Mountaineers. And the pull-up jumper good from McMillan.
McMillan on a little scoring spurt. I believe she scored the last 6 points for Charlotte.
Alston surveys the floor. Bigot catches and shoots. She has been automatic from 3 today. That's 3 made triples for Brooke Bigot, the junior.
100% from the field. 3 of 3 from three-point range. 4 of 4 overall. So a great start for the junior. Also a huge shot as it ties the game back up.
Well, Bigot's one. They're going to need to be a bigger, maybe a little more of a scorer this year for this App State team. And
man, that's unfortunate. Tiara Wilson got a fantastic steal that time. She tried to call timeout as she was falling, but I guess the official just didn't catch that, ends up calling the travel.
Tough break for the Mountaineers, tied at 29. Just 1:10 remaining in the first half here inside of the Home Convocation Center. Let's take a second look there.
It was a great job just getting her hands in, ripping this ball away. Tried to call timeout, but a good call by the official. It was a little late. She had fallen to the ground already.
Gotta love the hustle there from Tiara Wilson.
We've seen a lot of that from App getting in the passing lane so far. That's been a big part of the 12 turnovers that we've seen Charlotte commit so far.
Trying to find Harris inside. Able to pick it back up and miss the 8-footer. And this one's out of bounds back to the Mountaineers.
The one statistical category you're a little concerned about if you're App State at this point is that Charlotte controlling the glass to this point, 26-20. It's not like App State hadn't been competitive for those rebounds. It's just that Charlotte's a bigger team.
Yeah, we mentioned it, Ryan, over 6 players. 6 players over 6 feet tall on this team. Haley McDonald in for the first time in the first half for the Mountaineers. Backdoor cut. Wilson rejected by Harris. Here come the 49ers.
Good offense, just better defense. Good block.
And this one against Tiara Wilson. That's going to be team foul number 4 against the Mountaineers. And will be Wilson's
We had this conversation at the same point last quarter. Who closes it out better? It was App in the first quarter.
Corner pocket three, you bet. Callie Connick.
Big time shot from her, wide open. Just a lapsed rotation from App State. Didn't get out to contest that shot at all.
18 seconds. Shot clock is dead here inside of the Holmes Convocation Center. And Faith Alston, the freshman from Centerville, Virginia, controlling the rock. Elevates. Missed it long. McDonald trying to put it back in. Does. A little kiss off the window as time expires here in the first half. And a much-needed bucket for Appalachian State, 32-31. Charlotte with a 1-point lead at halftime. We'll be back on ESPN Plus to recap the first half, show you some stats and numbers of the first half, and talk about these two a little bit more. Take a quick break. You're watching college basketball on ESPN Plus.
These lines, like the creases in my father's hands, show the hard work and sacrifices of a line worker. These lines are the connections my father helped build between people, businesses, and organizations. They tell the story of how we invested in ourselves. We're public power, and these lines are our lines.
Local business